What's up YouTube, this is Mac991. Today I'm bringing you another one of my new format deck lists, today being Bujin's. Bujin's a fairly recent deck coming out in Judgment of the Light, and I find them particularly interesting because, as opposed to a lot of other decks where it's just spam out monsters, then put a load of them together to make your boss monster. This deck has a level 4 boss monster in the form of Yamato. I mean, you could argue for Susanoo, but most of the times you will just be using Yamato. And the support kind of revolves around him. So the playstyle is summon Yamato, well, first find Yamato, then summon Yamato, then protect Yamato, and you'll probably win. Because, as I said, all the support revolves around it. The deck is geared towards tutoring it out of the deck, and then protecting it, and then making an offensive push using him. So yeah, enough of me blabbering on. For the deck, run triple Yamato. You have to run 3. A lot of other decks, you can kind of pick and choose what you play at 2 or 3, but you have to play 3 Yamato. If it comes to the point in later sets where we get another decent Beast Warrior that kind of stands alone, then possibly one less than 3 Yamato. But at the moment, Yamato is your only main deck Beast Warrior, so you have to run it. His effect is once per turn during your end phase, you can add 1 Bujin monster from your deck to your hand, then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, and you can only control 1 Yamato. So this allows you to modulate your hand and grave at the same time, so it's extremely good, and it also gets around Vanity's Emptiness, which I play as well, because it goes via the hand and then to the grave, rather than just from deck to grave, which would pop Emptiness. Okay, the next Bujin monster, 2 Bujin Quillen. This is the first of 2 ground support that I run. If this card's in your graveyard while you control a Beast Warrior type Bujin, you can banish it and pop any face-up card your opponent controls, and you can only use its effect once per turn. And it's only during your turn. So it's sort of a pseudo Hornet type effect. Obviously, can't really. You can't loop it like you can with Hornet, but yeah, just instant removal. So you can then proceed to beat face with Yamato or Susanoo or whatever else you have. The second of the ground support, 2 Bujinki Turtle. This is your defensive Bujinki. If a Bujin monster, this is of any type, so it can be like a face-up Quillen or whatever. It doesn't have. It's one of the very few Bujinkis that don't specifically require a Beast Warrior. When it's targeted by a card effect, you can banish this card from the grave, then negate that effect. So if you're going to get deprisoned or compulsed or mind-stroked or anything else, it doesn't matter. If it targets, this card can negate it. It doesn't destroy, but it'd be kind of broken if it did, to be honest. And then for the final Bujin monsters we run, Triple Crane. This is the honest / Kalute of the deck. During damage calc in either player's turn, if a Beast Warrior type Bujin monster you control battles an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. The attack of your monster becomes double its original attack during that damage calculation only. There's a couple of things to note. First off, it says becomes double its original. So if you have like a Tenki up, or if you've one of the Phantom Beasts, if you run it, I personally don't, but if you have, then it doesn't matter. During that damage calc, if you activate Crane, Yamato will be on 3/6, or Susanoo will be on 4-8, it won't change. So, yeah. So, in that vein, well, you can technically activate Crane more than once if you have 2 in hand. It's completely pointless. Absolutely completely pointless. They don't stack, you don't double and then double again, or anything, and also you can't use this for direct attacks, it has to battle an opponent's monster. So, that's Crane. For non-Bujins, because everything's light run, honest, you can use this with Crane, as far as I'm aware. If I'm wrong, please let me know. You just have to set up the chain so that this resolves first, and then this resolves, so you double and then add, rather than add and then it becomes double. But yeah, if you have Crane honest, your opponent is in for a world of hurt. Then one bear, because you played Tenkis, cut it down from 2 bear, because we lost a Tenki. That made me rethink the entire sort of Fire Fist engines. I've also taken out Tensu, but yeah. Then for the final 2 monsters of the deck, 2 Summoner Monk. Because we kind of lost a little bit of consistency with the loss of Tenki. I mean, we did get third duality, which I am using, but this just summons Yamato straight from the deck, which is kind of good. More often, well, often I have just summoned Monk, pitched the Tenki I would have used to search Yamato, and just summoned Yamato. Because why add it to hand when you can just get it straight to the field? So, yeah, that's Monk. Another interesting thing to note with Monk, something you can do, is if you open Monk and 2 spells, you can go Monk, Monk, Yamato, make Key Beetle target Yamato for extra protection. I don't have a Key Beetle, so I don't do that, but if you do, then it's probably worth the space in the extra deck. You're probably not going to do it, but I have done in testing, so that's that. Yeah, for spells, the one Dark Hole, Reborn, being hit kind of hurts this deck a little bit, but I have compensated for that later on. Double Tenki. This doesn't actually hurt the deck that much, simply because we now have 3 duality, and you're not going to be really summoning much in the opening turns, or special summoning rather, so just get to your combo pieces. Like if you open Yamato, this gets you to your other Bujingi. If you open a Bujingi, this gets you to your Yamato. There, sorry about the stuttering today. But yeah, duality is extremely potent in this deck. Dual MST, kind of obvious. You go against like Necro Valley or something similarly stunish and you have a bad time. Similarly Lance, because while Torrential and Banlist have both been hit, which makes Yamato quite happy, you're still going to run into mirror forces and things that Turtle can't protect, so Lance. And then for the final spell, one Bujin Incarnation. I've got one of these coming in, but it's just taking forever to actually arrive. So yeah, Bujin Incarnation. This is basically your pseudo Miracle Fusion. If you control no monsters, you can special summon one of your banished Bujin and one of your Bujins in the grave. But those 2 monsters can only be used as an Xyz summon for the summon of a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast type Xyz. So yeah. You top deck this mid to late game and you just go, oh, Susanoo, or oh, Omega. So it's kind of good. Only one because it does clog a little bit, and with triple duality you can get it to your hand if you feel like you're going to need it soon. But yeah, for the spells, or for the traps rather, triple cool. If your Yamato does die, then you need to get him back to the field as quickly as possible, and so cool. Another thing This helps with your Xyz plays fairly obviously. If you go Yamato, set, call, then use Yamato's effect to pitch like a turtle or something. Next turn, if that turtle isn't spent, you can just call it, go Susanoo, search whatever you want. So, call's good. Double emptiness for a bit of stun. You go Yamato with a crane in hand and a turtle in grave, and vanity's up, and your opponent's going to have to work to get around it. But yeah, then to breakthrough, throwing this over chain because it doesn't matter if you pitch it for Yamato's effect if you have to, and also this deck struggles a bit more against stuff like Drago Sack or Maestroke and things that have self-protection, more so than things like Constella. So yeah, you can just negate the effect and then punch it in the face, which is also nice. Then to Mirror Force protection, to Deepism protection, and one each of Warning, Compulse, and Bottomless, and that rounds off the deck. It should be 40 cards. If I've miscounted, please let me know. For the extra deck, 2 Bujin to Susanoo. This is another Beast Warrior target. It requires just 2 Bujins to make, so it's relatively easy. This deck doesn't really have a way of spamming, but with calls and Bujin carnations it can exceed. This has an Asura Priest effect. It can attack each of your opponent's monsters once each, so your opponent plays newly at 3 Scapegoat, it doesn't really matter, you just go boff, 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 and kill them all. And then it also has a Gigant effect. Once per turn you can detach an Xyz material from this card, take 1 Bujin monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the grave. So this allows you to fully manipulate your Bujingis. If you have any missing bits of protection, you can just grab them or pitch them. So yeah, and also all of the Bujin Beast Warriors have little claws at the end saying you're going to control one of that name, but you can still control like a Susanoo and a Yamato. You just can't go to Susanoo or to Yamato. Then Tide King, Omega, and Direwolf are your other Bujin Carnation targets. Most of the time I go into Omega because Miracle Fusioning into a self-protecting body is pretty good. Tide King, if you have like a bear in hand or something, you can res a Yamato, go into this, get Tenki, search other things. But yeah, don't go into him as much now that I've kind of stripped the Fire Fist engine out. And Direwolf is just useful for pops. For more generic stuff, Emerald, Chain, this is surprisingly good with Cool Haunted, you just pitch your Yamato and then res it. Pap, most of the things are light, so Pally. Utopia, Maestroke, Abyss Dweller because Mermels and that Plant Dragon thing are decks. Cowboy for the last little bit of burn or to be over stuff. Although if you're going into Cowboy to be over stuff, then something's gone wrong. Oro and Dice Sigma. Obviously no Shockmaster because it's not banned, but the deck really went into Shockmaster, you really spammed enough. But yeah, sorry this has been a bit longer than my usual deck profiles. I just felt I needed to explain stuff a bit more because they are a relatively new deck. Yeah, don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the deck. Comment with improvements you would make. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you have a channel, leave a video response with your take on the deck. But yeah, this has been Uzmak1, signing out.